The movie begins with our main hero, Levon, who spends the entire night sleeping in his car. The next morning, he brushes his teeth in the car, gets ready, and leaves for work. He arrives at a construction site where many workers, like him, are employed by the Garcia family. After giving instructions to the workers, Levon goes to his boss's office, where Boss Joe's daughter, Jenny, is also present. Jenny proudly tells her father, Joe, that she has cleared her first semester, and Joe is overjoyed upon hearing this news. To celebrate, Jenny decides to throw a party for all her friends. However, when she mentions the total cost of the party, Joe becomes furious and tells her that spending so much money is unnecessary. Despite her father's protests, Jenny remains stubborn, and a heated argument breaks out between the two. Levon watches this exchange with interest because he considers the Garcia family as his own, and they share everything with him. During this, Levon notices a black car outside the office, from which some goons step out and start attacking a worker. Levon's blood boils when he sees this, and he quickly grabs a bucket full of nails, ready to teach the goons a lesson. At first, Levon calmly tries to reason with them, asking them to leave the worker alone and go away. But the goons dismiss him and try to kill him, leading to a fierce fight. Levon takes them all down with his incredible combat skills, leaving the goons in shock and fear. They scatter, afraid to even get close to him. Levon, who appeared to be just a laborer, proves to be dangerous and skilled in combat. The worker, still shaken, asks Levon who he is, but Levon walks away without answering. It is then revealed that Levon was once a Royal Marine commando before he became a laborer, but he left that life behind and chose a simpler existence. Meanwhile, Jenny approaches Levon and tells him that she saw the whole fight, but she promises not to tell anyone. Levon, who has no home, is often invited to eat at the Garcia's house, and Jenny, kind as ever, feeds him before leaving. Levon then goes to visit his daughter, Mary, who lives with her maternal grandfather, Roth. Levon is a single father. His wife passed away a long time ago. Roth does not like Levon and tries to keep him away from Mary, even planning a party to keep Mary from spending time with him. Levon, however, is determined and insists on seeing his daughter. Roth accuses Levon of being responsible for his daughter's death, but in truth, Levon's wife died on her own. Ignoring Roth's words, Levon visits Mary, and the two go out for lunch. Levon shows Mary the last photo of her mother, which makes Mary feel sad and angry. She expresses her anger, saying that her mother should not have left them, and she feels abandoned. Levon comforts her, and after spending time together, he takes her back to Roth's house. Levon is determined to get custody of Mary, so he visits a lawyer for advice. However, the lawyer informs him that his case is weak because, with no permanent home, only living in his car, he cannot provide a stable environment for Mary. The lawyer also points out that Roth is wealthy and has used his money to influence people, including convincing the court that Levon is mentally unstable after leaving the Marines. Despite this, Levon pays the lawyer a large sum of money and insists on continuing to fight for custody. In the meantime, Jenny convinces her father Joe to let her throw the party. Jenny enjoys herself immensely, surrounded by friends. However, the bartender at the party, Johnny, is suspiciously keeping an eye on her. He quickly texts someone and continues to observe her. Levon, meanwhile, visits a small, dilapidated house since he can no longer live in his car. The house is in poor condition, and Levon becomes disheartened, realizing how far his life has fallen into poverty. At the party, Jenny continues to have fun, unaware that Viper and his girlfriend, Artemis, are also watching her. Viper and Artemis are notorious for kidnapping beautiful girls and selling them to wealthy clients, and now they have set their sights on Jenny. After a while, Jenny steps out of the bathroom, only to be grabbed by Viper and whisked away. 2 days pass, and Joe calls Levon to his office, visibly worried. Joe tells Levon that Jenny has been missing for 2 days and is likely kidnapped. Despite seeking help from the police, no substantial progress has been made. Joe hands Levon thick bundles of money, asking him to find Jenny and bring her back. Levon hesitates and refuses at first, saying that he left his commando life behind. But after much pleading from Joe and Carla, Levon agrees to help. Levon visits a blind man named Gani, who used to be a commando with him. Levon explains his promise to protect Jenny and his guilt over her disappearance. After receiving Gani's permission, Levon begins his search for Jenny. Meanwhile, at Joe's house, The mood is somber as everyone anxiously waits for news. Joe locks himself in his room, crying over a picture of Jenny. Levon encourages him, promising that he will do whatever it takes to bring Jenny back. Levon begins his investigation at the bar where Jenny was last seen. After searching the area, he spots Johnny, the bartender, who has been dealing in illegal drugs. Levon becomes suspicious and waits for Johnny to leave. When Johnny heads home, Levon follows him and forces his way inside, holding Johnny at gunpoint. Levon shows Johnny a picture of Jenny and demands answers. Johnny denies knowing anything, claiming he sees countless girls every day. Levon, realizing that Johnny won't cooperate, tortures him in an attempt to extract the truth. As Johnny begins to scream, his two friends arrive, causing a shootout. In the chaos, Johnny is accidentally killed by his own men, and Levon kills the two attackers in return. Levon continues to stay outside Johnny's house, keeping watch. The next morning, Volo, a Russian mafia boss, arrives at Johnny's house and becomes furious upon discovering his men's bodies. He quickly deduces that the deaths weren't random but targeted, and he orders his men to find the killer. Levon is still outside, watching as the mafia cleans up the scene by cutting up the bodies and disposing of them in barrels. Levon follows Volo's men, leading him to Volo's house. There, Volo's violent temper flares up, and Levon ambushes him. After a brutal fight, Levon ties Volo to a chair and demands to know where Jenny is being held. Volo reluctantly reveals that it was not his plan, but rather his associate Dimi, who orchestrated the kidnapping. Volo, angered by Dimi's actions, vows to kill him, but Levon intervenes and kills Volo instead. Volo's death leads to the introduction of Simon, Volo's older brother, and the true boss of the organization. Simon orders his sons to find and eliminate the person responsible for Volo's death. Meanwhile, Levon continues to pursue Dimi, determined to learn all the details about his operation. He reaches out to a friend in the DEA for help, but when that fails, he goes to a bar where he believes he can find Dimi. There, Artemis, a member of Dimi's team, notices Levon and suspects him to be a cop due to his weapon. She orders one of her men to approach him and find out more. Levon uses this to his advantage, bribing the man to take him to Dimi's boss, Dutch. Dutch initially refuses to meet Levon, but when he sees Levon's military tattoo, he realizes they share a past. Dutch decides to meet with Levon the following morning. Levon arrives, only to discover that Dutch is a fraud, sending subordinates to meet him instead. After a tense standoff, Levon kills all of Dutch's men, and Dutch himself admits that he knows Levon is a former commando. Dutch then offers Levon a deal to join his criminal business, but Levon has a different plan. In a dramatic turn of events, Levon eventually reaches Dimi, and after a series of deadly encounters, he tracks down the men responsible for Jenny's kidnapping. Levon fights his way through them, finally reaching Dimi. Dimi, fearing for his life, uses a woman as a human shield to escape, but Levon shoots him in the hand, freeing the woman. Dimi, terrified, agrees to help Levon find Jenny. The search leads them to Viper's hideout, where Jenny is held captive. Levon confronts Viper and his men, killing them all and rescuing Jenny. However, the fight isn't over. After a fierce battle, Levon and Jenny manage to escape, but not without a final showdown between Levon and Simon's forces. In the end, Simon contacts the High Table, revealing that Levon is targeting those responsible for kidnapping the girl. The High Table refuses to support Simon, and Levon successfully brings Jenny back home. The Garcia family is overjoyed, and Levon, despite the chaos and violence, returns to a peaceful life with Mary and Jenny, sharing a heartfelt meal with them. The movie ends on a note of resolution, with Levon's family safe and together.